This is a really useful technique for generating ideas. You can use this for coming up with ideas for illustrations, short stories, YouTube videos. Personally, I'm a filmmaker, so I've used this technique to come up with ideas for over a dozen short films. So what you're going to do to start is get a piece of paper or a Word document. I personally am using Notion for this. Then pick 3 different categories of thing. For example, I make short films, so I might go with genre, filmmaking technique, and theme. You might want to write them as underlined headings. I personally am going to be doing this in a table. Now, for each one, put down a few of your favorite things in each category. So for genres, I might go for noir, horror, science fiction. I'd then continue with filmmaking techniques and themes. It doesn't have to be specifically 3 things, but I think that's a good minimum, and I'm using that to simplify the whole process. Once you're done with that, just pick one thing from each category and see what interesting combinations you come up with. So it looks like I'm going to be making a horror short film about the problems of capitalism that also features a long take. Or I could also make a film noir about toxic masculinity that extensively features drone photography. That would be interesting. If you want, you can be even more specific, and once you've picked a thing from each category, you can write down a bunch of things that you associate with that thing and then combine those new thoughts. Science fiction films, for example, extensively feature new display technologies like holograms. So you might wonder, how can you combine holograms with the theme of nostalgia? How does the feeling of looking at an old photograph change when it's not an old photograph, it's a 3D light projection? That's an interesting idea right there. Throw in one of the other things like Russian style montage, and now you're going to be doing a Russian style montage that features a hologram and is about the theme of nostalgia. That's getting real specific. Maybe you could cut between someone reminiscing over an old Polaroid picture, someone reminiscing over an iPhone picture, and then someone reminiscing over a hologram, and make a point about the way in which we feel nostalgia has not changed much in the last 50, 100 years, won't change much into the future. Or you could make a point about how it will. So many possibilities. If you want to get extra spicy, you can just take 2 things from the same list and combine those. That's probably how they came up with Blade Runner, to be honest. It doesn't have to be films that you use this for either. You can use this as an illustrator. You might pick like a medium, a subject, and an emotion that you want to evoke. Recently, I took part in a 48-hour film challenge, and we were given an item, an action, and a theme as our prompts. So we basically had to do exactly this technique to come up with our ideas. The prompts ended up being button, drop, and discovery. We did a bunch of brainstorming around things that were associated with buttons, things that could be dropped, and what discovery could mean. Coming up with these ideas for each thing separately meant that we could find ways in which they combine really, really easily. We ended up with a character with a button for an eye who dropped his eye down the drain, dropped down the drain himself to discover another world underneath the city, and a monster who offered him a replacement button eye that allowed him to discover a new perspective. 2 lots of discovery, as well as button eyes and both him and the button dropping at different points. Perfect for the prompt. I feel like this video has been a little bit more breathless than some of my videos. Sorry if it's been a bit tiring. Ooh, there's a bunch of crows outside. That's very ominous. If you want to watch more of these videos, feel free to click subscribe. I make them occasionally. There will be some other ones on the channel already. I will leave links around here. Goodbye.